Men are being banned from buying video games. So, guys, this is interesting. This is very interesting. And we actually talked about this. You know that men are being investigated right now just for the videos they're watching on YouTube. You know that men are being arrested for playing video games. So, the alphabet agencies like FBI and others are actually actively observing men who are playing video games. They are listening in on the communications. They want to know what men are discussing. And now they're going after the Manosphere. They're investigating the Manosphere. They're going after Manosphere content creators. And I've said that this is being done not because of misogyny, not because they are worried about men having conversations about women. No, they are more worried about men having conversations about society, men having conversations about money, having conversations about reality. They are afraid because men are coming together and comparing notes. Now, as we can see here, men are being banned from buying video games. They're being barred from playing video games, and they're being banned from buying video games. Now, check this out. This was a comment, and this is something that a subscriber actually noticed. He commented on the California's workers now want a $30 minimum wage video, and basically people are saying that for them to be able to pay for all of these things, they're going to need money. How are they going to pay for these things? They need money. And for them to do this, they need men to continue being active in the economy. They need men to continue going out there and working. They need men to build value and wealth. And men are walking away. And because the men are walking away, because the men are not doing this, it is draining the state. Without men, the Social Security fund is going to be depleted even faster than 2034. And they're saying, well, in a good economy, the boomers will receive 77% of that Social Security. No, it's not going to happen. We're talking about more like 50%, $500 checks, and I'm not the only one who's saying it. We'll jump more into that in a moment, but I want to read the comment from Richard to you. He says, angry, I don't know about other places, but where I live, there is one Walmart, and every time I go to the electronics area, they have a paid employee trying to keep you from buying game consoles and computers. This person will tell you things like, you don't need a game, or you should be spending your money on a woman, or why do you want to be antisocial? You should find a woman to take care of, preferably a single mom. Shaking my head. So there's a comment from a woman immediately beneath this named Sandra, and she goes, open eyes, blushed face, and then rolling her eyes. So why is a woman immediately jumping on here, attempting to discredit this man? You see, you hear about these things, and you think that it's BS, and then you start to notice patterns around you. You begin noticing that it's becoming harder for you to pick up the games that you want. You begin that they start putting up barriers to purchase the content that you want. They start to, say, well, hey, are you getting married? Are you having kids? How about a relationship? You guys, this is the honest to goodness truth. Don't forget what began to happen. You think this is the game. It's not a game. It is not a game. When the Roman Empire was falling, okay? Because basically they introduced no-fault divorces into the Roman Empire. Women began divorcing their husbands and running off with gladiators, so Chad and Tyrone. Men became completely disengaged from society. They began walking away from society. They stopped serving in the military. They stopped building society. They stopped repairing roads. They stopped creating wealth for the Roman Empire. And one of the Caesars, it was either Augustus or Julius, you guys can figure it out. They basically said that unmarried men were worse than all of the criminals in the entirety of the Roman Empire, worse than all of the liars, worse than all of the thieves, worse than all of the guys who would go out and seek a physical intimacy that was not reciprocated, if you get what I'm saying. They were worse than all of these men. These men were barred from going to the Colosseum, public events, so things like the theater, and they were also not allowed to, enjoy basically all the basic amenities within the Roman Empire. So think of it like this: they couldn't watch television, they couldn't go to the movies, there was no wrestling events for them, no Taylor Swift concerts, all of it gone. To top that off, they were also unmarried men were forced to run in the streets during the winter time, chain gang style. And even then, these men still would not marry. Finally, fast forward like 100 years, the Roman Empire no longer has a military, and the entirety of the empire is being protected by mercenaries. The mercenaries realize that the emperor has no clothes. They pillage the empire entirely. We are plunged into 1,000 years of darkness because of the actions of women and simps, and basically men walking away from society. And yeah, we ended up with the bubonic plague that almost took out all of humanity, at least known humanity at that time. And then after about 1,000 years of darkness, math and science were rediscovered. And we started to rebuild. And here we are today. I want you guys to understand something. We actually made some major inroads very, very quickly after rediscovering math and science. What this strongly suggests, and this hear me out, what this strongly suggests is that had the Roman Empire not fallen, we would be much further along than we are today. And it's not just even 1,000 years, but you have to understand that before the Roman Empire fell, things were going downhill for hundreds of years. From the very moment that they started giving women special rights and special privileges, introducing no-fault divorce, society began to go downhill. So had, women never gained all of this power in society, all of these privileges, we would be much further along than 1,000 years. I mean, we would literally be on other planets right now. And there's so much knowledge that we lost. We didn't recover all of that knowledge. Just to make that very, very clear. Like, elements of calculus were created in the Middle East. Elements of calculus were created in the Middle East. Like, you have to understand just how much information we lost because of the actions of women and simps in society, and then men who just walked away. It's not a game. So of course, this is just the start. Men being punished, arrested for playing video games, banned from buying games. It's just the start. But it doesn't matter what they do. It's not going to result in men returning to society. It will just more so push men out of society, out of Western society, out of the United States. Because for some guys, the moment they say, okay, well, no games, no this, no that, some guys will just go, yeah, that's enough. That's enough for me. I'm done. I'm done with this. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. And they'll just pick up and leave the country and go overseas. And that's the end of that. That's the reality that we are living in. That is the 100% reality that we are living in. It's going to get worse before it gets better, and don't expect it to get better really in your lifetime unless you walk away and you're able to find some semblance of happiness somewhere else. But it's not going to get any better. Like, we are now in a new cultural dark age, which I like to call the age of stupidity. And don't expect us to emerge from it. Like, Western society is done. I thought we had $34 trillion in debt. Like I said, I learned so much from you guys. I gained a lot of wisdom from you guys, and now a lot of you guys are letting me know, no, Angry, they keep the majority of the debt outside of the United States. The United States by itself owes something more like $300 trillion. All right? The US has more like $300 trillion in debt. $300 trillion in outstanding debts. That's insane. That's insane. We can't even afford to make our interest payments on $34 trillion in debt. We can't even afford to keep the lights on. Okay? And we owe over 300 trillion, and the government is hiding it because they know if they did it, people would go absolutely insane. The flooring would fall out completely. That's why the media doesn't report on it. Guys, don't forget I have another channel called Angry where I discuss gaming, anime, geek stuff, nerd stuff, real world stuff, and whatever else interests me. There's a link to a description of the video. Go check it out. Subscribe to my channel. Support my work. And if you're enjoying the content on the Angry Guy channel, you want even more of this content, head over to Men Walking Away. I post daily videos on the Men Walking Away channel, and there's a link to the Men Walking Away channel description of the video. Go check it out. Enjoy the content. What do you guys think regarding this? Men are being banned from buying video games. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWA, Men Walking Away, and cheers.